sports fans, PB&Z Sports Chaos, we're back. Happy New Year. It's the end of the year show. What a tumultuous 2020 it's been. For Boston fans, you know what it's been like. Obviously with COVID, we lost Brady, and now the news of the day is that Dano Chara is walking away from Boston as well. He's going to the Washington Capitals. Oh, it cannot get over soon enough, PB, right?
I know, huh? And think about how many sports personalities also passed during the year. It seems like there was a lot, right? And latest
I was just looking at that. It was unbelievable. It was like 3 pages in the Globe. I was reading it this morning. Unbelievable.
And the latest is Phil Niekro. So
yeah, Phil Niekro. Yeah, it's
all right.
I mean, it's been a who's list of baseball, basketball, football players that's passed away. It's like all people you and I as kids watched and were heroes. They were our heroes, right? They've gone. So. Yeah. All right, let's get on to some positive stuff. We're going to talk some college bowl game picks. And as you know, we already started last week. We picked 3 games. PB won 2 of those games. I did come back in a big style last night. My Oklahoma Sooners crushed his Florida team by, 100 points? I forget what the score was, but it was a blowout. So we're going to pick – I got 8 more games for us to pick today. You know why, PB? Here's why. I was looking back at the overall score of our predictions this year. After 17 weeks, you are 207-26. I am 214-19. So here's your chance to make up for it today with these picks. By the way, big games are tomorrow, as you know, New Year's Day. Clemson is going to be without their offensive coordinator, Tony Elliott. He's kind of the cog of that play calling. COVID-19, he can't go to the game. It's going to be a tough one. We'll see. And Dabo, he lighted a fire under those Ohio State Buckeyes. Did you see what he did? He picked them 11th in the coaches poll this week, PB.
Yeah.
Was that stupid? Was that stupid, or are you good with that?
You know my feelings about Ohio State. So
you're aligned with it, right?
Yeah, I'm more in line.
All right. Hey, by the way, sports fans, we're going to do our NFL predictions on Saturday, and this time you get to chime in. If you beat PB&Z, tell them what the deal is here, PB.
Hey, we're going to give away our first piece of merchandise. You'll get a PB&Z shot glass. If you can beat PB&Z, you need to beat us to qualify, and then beyond that, it'll be whoever has the most wins. Check out our Facebook page. There'll be details posted on there, and watch our show so you can see which games we're picking.
Oh, I like it. I like it. All right, let's get into these picks. Are you ready for it, brother?
Yeah, let's do college.
All right, we got one game today we're going to pick. It's the Liberty Bowl. We're going to only pick the typical bowls that were around 20 years plus. Liberty Bowl, Army plays West Virginia. West Virginia is a 6.5-point favorite. Who do you like?
Yeah, and that line's already moving in the direction of West Virginia. I think it might be even up to double digits at this point. So money's coming in on West Virginia. If I only have to give up 6.5, I'm going to take the Mountaineers in this one.
I'm a military academy guy. I'm taking Army.
Okay.
All right. Fiesta Bowl. This bowl has blown up over the last 25 years. It's now one of the granddaddies. It's not the granddaddy. We'll talk about that later. But you got Oregon against Iowa State. Iowa State's a 4-point favorite. Who do you like?
Yeah, and you know what? Iowa State's played 11 games this year. Oregon's only played 6. So you could look at that 2 ways. You could say Iowa State's got more experience, more opponents, more game planning. But you also could say, hey, Oregon's a little bit more fresh because they've only played 6 games. Iowa State's had some pretty good wins. They beat Oklahoma during the regular season. They beat Texas during the regular season. Oregon, on the other hand, they did have that one nice win against USC, but they dropped to teams like Oregon State and Cal. I don't know if there's enough evidence there to show me that Oregon is capable of covering this 4-point spread. So I am going to go with Iowa State and lay the 4.
All right. I am going with Iowa State as well. I agree with everything you just said about them, and the 11 games counts in my mind. All right. The next one we got, the Gator Bowl. North Carolina State versus Kentucky. I don't know how these teams got to a bowl game, but they did. Kentucky, believe it or not, is favored by 2.5, even though North Carolina State's ranked. What do you think?
Yeah, and again, just not a lot to go off here. But Kentucky, they were 4-6, right? They were a losing record, only won 4 games. Normally they wouldn't even qualify for a bowl. I think it was Arkansas that was in a bowl and they were 3-7. I mean, how the heck did that happen? I mean, come on. So, you know, and NC State, you know, they played some pretty big games this year. I believe they played Alabama and they played Florida. And you know, they have some experience there. I don't know enough to really go and take Kentucky in this game. So if you give me 2.5 with NC State, I'm going to take the Wolfpack here.
Kentucky played Alabama and Florida, but North Carolina State did play North Carolina in a very close game, and they did play the Fighting Irish, who are playing for the championship semifinals tomorrow. I am taking North Carolina State myself. Okay. Citrus Bowl. This is another one that's always been around, usually at noontime on New Year's Day. I always catch that when I first wake up on New Year's Day at noon. This one's got Auburn versus Northwestern. And you know what? Northwestern's a 3.5-point favorite. What do you think?
Yeah, and you know what? Auburn, I don't think they have any big wins this year. Northwestern, they've won some decent games. And what sticks out to me the most is how they handled Ohio State. They lost the game, but I believe they covered the spread. And
they did. I picked Ohio State to cover. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. They covered the spread.
Yeah. And I think, you know, they kept them at bay, really. So I'm going off that one game and feeling like they can take Auburn down and lay the 4 points.
I'm with you as well. I think I love Pat Fitzy. Great coach. I'm with you. Northwestern wins that game and covers the spread at 3.5 points they lay. All right. We got the Peach Bowl. This is a good one. Cincinnati, undefeated Cincinnati plays Georgia. Georgia was, if you remember, one of my picks for the college final playoffs. They didn't make it. Georgia's a 6.5-point favorite. I think they had some opt-outs. Who do you like?
Yeah, this is tough. Anytime you have a team outside of the Big Five conferences, it's hard to pick them. You know, it's like when Boise State, that one year, they did beat, I believe it was a Big 12 team in
Oklahoma.
In the Fiesta Bowl, right?
Correct.
Which was amazing to see. And you don't see enough of that. Usually these teams come in on out of the Power Fives, and they don't beat a good team. When you're talking about, you know, an SEC team here in Georgia that some people picked to be in the CFP potentially this year. So, and you look at Cincinnati's best win. What was it? Probably SMU, when SMU was ranked 18th or something in October.
In Memphis, yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's really their best win of the year. So I can't, again, there's not enough of a body of work there against good teams to allow me to pick Cincinnati here. Maybe they figure out a way to cover, but I'm still going to lay the touchdown with Georgia and take the.
Whoa! I'm going to take the points. I think Cincinnati's defense makes it a close game. I don't know if they win, but they cover. All right. North Carolina and Texas A&M in the Orange Bowl, one of my favorite bowls of all time. Usually it's at nighttime on New Year's Day. It's always great. They have great halftime entertainment. Texas A&M is whining big time about not making the college football playoffs. I don't think they deserve to be there. North Carolina had a decent year, a couple of good wins. They blew up Miami at the end of the season. A&M's favored by 7.5. Who do you like?
Yeah, and I do like that. That bowl's going to be right in my backyard here. And then, of course, you know, they'll host the football championship as well a week later. You know, I think A&M legitimately could be in this CFP discussion. You know, they only had the one loss.
Alabama, yep.
Yeah, to Alabama, right?
By 28.
Right, yeah, but still, I mean, you know, so did, you know, Notre Dame and Clemson played for the second time in Notre Dame, and Notre Dame has a one loss, and they're in it, right?
Right.
Why can't A&M be in there? I think A&M and Notre Dame should be in, and Ohio State should be out, but that's another whole story for another day. I've been harping on that all year long. So I like A&M. So I think they should be the 4 seed. I think they should be in the CFP. I'll lay the 7.5 and take the Aggies.
Ooh, all right. You know what? As much as I think North Carolina could score them, I think you're right on that. I'm going to lean to Texas A&M as well. All right, let's get into the playoff games. The first one we'll start with is the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame versus Alabama. And this spread is now up to 20 points. Alabama's the favorite. Notre Dame has not fared well in these games, but they are 5-2 all-time in the bowls against Alabama for whatever that means. What do you think?
Yeah, and Notre Dame has a decent defense. They allow 335 yards per game, but you know what? They can expect to see that number get well into the 500s probably, I think, in this game. Mac Jones will go off. Devonta Smith will have a big game. I think Najee Harris on the ground is going to have a big game. I think Alabama is going to blow them out of the park. 19.5 points is a lot of points in a playoff game, but
I
think
20 now.
What's that?
It's up to 20 now.
It's up to 20 now. So the money's still coming in on Bama, and I'll take Bama. Maybe they just, Notre Dame gets a late touchdown and keeps it close. But 21, 24, 28-point win for Alabama, I think, is very, very realistic and can happen. So I'll lay the points and take Bama.
PB, I'm with you on that, except just to make it interesting, I'm going to take Notre Dame. Brian Kelly, I think if he doesn't win this game, or it doesn't get close in this game, if he gets blown out, I think he's fired. I honestly think he gets fired. Hard to believe, but he cannot keep getting blown out of bowl games. He's going to do something different here. So we'll see. I got Notre Dame covering, but Alabama winning. All right. And by the way, hey, DYK, Devontae Smith, you mentioned him, the wide receiver, the first Alabama player ever named as player of the year in college football. Can you believe that?
Wow.
All the Heisman Trophy winners they have, they never had a player of the year.
Wow, considering all the talent that's come out of it, that is he's first in receiving in college in NCAA, and the guy that's second is like 500 yards behind him or something. It's crazy. And
by the way, he's not even ranked higher than his teammate who's on injured reserve now, is Waddle there, right? The kid that got hurt earlier this year, who's supposed to be a better prospect. Go figure. Can you imagine they're both playing tomorrow? Wow. All right, let's talk about the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, which is not going to be in Pasadena this year for the first time ever. I love the Rose Bowl. It's my bucket list. It's going to be in Texas, down at Jerry's World. This is probably going to be the best game of the day. You got Ohio State, who we both despise, we don't think should be in this thing, but they are, going up against Clemson. Clemson's a 7.5-point favorite. As I said earlier, Dabo already said they're only the 11th best team in the country, Ohio State. What do you think?
All right, yeah, this is the Sugar Bowl. Right? The Rose Bowl is Alabama Notre Dame, so this is the Sugar Bowl, right?
No, this is the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I think Alabama and Notre Dame are in the Rose Bowl, and Clemson and no, that reverse.
The other way around. So this is the Rose Bowl, but move to Texas.
Oh, okay, all right. So 7.5 is what the line is.
7.5.
I've just been harping on this Ohio State thing all year, right?
I know it, and you've got me buying in. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid with Ohio State, but you know what? They haven't lost a game. They're where they are because of probably people bigger and better than us at recognizing who should be ranked, the talent. I hope it's not a media, false impressions of what we should think of the Buckeyes. I want to take Clemson so bad in this game. I really do. 7.5, though, I think that 0.5 point scares me a little bit. And I think Ohio State, while they'll have a chance at winning the game, I think Clemson will win it, though, but I think Ohio State gets it covered. I'm going to go 27-24 Clemson, which means that Ohio State would cover. So I am taking the Buckeyes in this game.
Oh, all right. Hey, a little DYK. They've played 4 times now in bowl games. Clemson is 4-0. The first time they were played, 78. Woody Hayes punched the Clemson player after an interception. He was fired shortly thereafter. And they played 3 more times. 1 was a BCS game. 2 was in the college football playoffs. Clemson won all of them. I'm with you. Clemson wins. But like I said last week when I picked Notre Dame to cover it and Clemson to win, I'm going to take Ohio State, hopefully to cover, maybe not, because I want Clemson to win the game.
Okay, so we're different on 3, I think.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, and we're the same on 5. We'll see how we fare.
All right, sports fans, remember, you're going to tune in. We're going to have another show. We'll broadcast it and post it Saturday for a chance to win this engraved PB&Z Sports Chaos shot glass. PB, you out? We good?
Yeah, good show.
All right,
Enjoy
man.
games. All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.